Hello and welcome to Chapter 17, Video 2. All right. Again, don't forget to write the notes and submit them when we're all done. All right. So we left up at step-by-step attack plan. All right. So let's start writing. First thing you're going to do, what are you going to do when you got problems with antivirus programs or anything? Somebody gives you and they've been attacked. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to identify and do research on the malware symptoms, pop-ups, fake antivirus programs. If you have slow performance, lockups, internet connectivity issues, application crashes, OS update failures, system and application errors, problems with files, email problems, problems with updating your anti-malware software, or invalid digital certificates. All of these, by the way, as you can see, are issues that you probably have some sort of a malware. All right. The second thing you're going to do, number 2, quarantine the infected system. Take it out of if it's network, take it out of the network and make sure no one connects to it. All right. Step number 3, um, we are going to remedy the problem, remedy the infected system. So here's the table of the different anti-malware software websites that you can get to. All right. But here's what you should do. If an infected system does not boot, what are you going to do? The boot manager, the bootloader, or the kernel mode drivers launched at startup might be infected or damaged. So launch the computer into Windows recovery environment and use the startup repair process to repair the system. All right. What happens if the anti malware software is already installed on the system and you suspect an infection? Update the software and perform a full scan on the computer, on the system itself. If the system malware, um, if the system malware software is not already installed, the most effective way to clean the computer is to run the software from another computer, which is true. And sometimes, worst case scenario, you take the hard drive and put it as a slave drive on another system. But you really don't have to do that. You can set it up as a network computer, right? You can use a crossover cable or connect it through a switch. All right. Next, I hope you're writing all of these down because this is important on how to clean up a virus on a computer, right? Install and run anti-malware on the infected computer itself. So you could do that. Install and run the anti-malware in safe mode. Run the anti-malware scan before Windows boots, and Windows allows you to do that, by the way. Um, Microsoft offers a specialized scanning tool called Windows Defender, offline, WDO, that loads before Windows performs a scan in the Windows pre-installation environment, the WinPE. All right, to do that, you want to click on the Update and Security, Windows Security, and Virus Threat Protection. I think it's in here somewhere. I don't want to keep clicking. Um, yeah, right here. So follow these steps right in here. The WDO will allow you to do that. All right. In the Windows Defender Security Center windows that opens up, click on Run and New Advanced Scan and then select Windows Defender Scan. You can run more than one anti-malware software. Of course, that's a good idea. So you can run, I don't know, McAfee and whatever, and Windows Defender too, from outside of you doing it. All right. And finally, you want to clean up whatever is left over. So respond to all the startup errors that the virus, after you cleaned it up, there might have some startup errors. Research the malware types, program files, delete files, clean the registry, clean your browser, and uninstall any unwanted program that the malware left, right? Okay, when you're all done and cleaned up, make sure you protect your system with scheduled scans and update. Use anti-malware software. Use a software firewall and keep Windows Update current. All right, make sure you do that. Uh, And of course, you want to enable the system protection and create a restore point. Very important. And of course, you want to educate the users on what to do. Don't, not going to downloading anything from any websites. All right, so now let's talk about the best practices for documentation. So documentation is extremely important because it keeps track of everything that you've been doing, especially when you were troubleshooting and you fixed something. What you want to do is you want to write down in details what the symptoms were and how you went about fixing it, what the pitfalls are, what not to do next time, and things like that. All right. So let's write down the following. Number one, types of documentation that you can use: knowledge-based, customer service, IT printing and troubleshooting. You can have a document just for that. Inventory management. You can have a document just for that. Password policy, network topology diagrams, which are important. All of these should be somewhere in your network room, and you should be familiar with everything. You can, knowledge based is information about everything in your field: books, resources, Googling, websites, you name it. Right. Number two, change management. Change management means whenever you want to update, bought new software, changed hard drives, things like that. So change management means people are affected by the change, by a smooth transition. So you want to have a documentation of what has changed, right? Areas, computers, networks, whatever. Number three, you want to have a document on business continuity. What happens if something fails? Server fails, switch failed, you don't have access to a site. What can you do? All right, maybe you want to change the plan and the scope. So write this down as well. The scope of change defines your responsibility in the change plan. It is important that you understand exactly your assignment for planning, implementing, and supporting the change. All right, risk analysis. You want to go over, what is the probability that somebody's going to infect my system or break into my network? You should have a backup plan. Define the activity needed to recover the original state in the event of an aborted, failed, or change implementation. What happened if you changed something and it doesn't work? You gotta have a plan to be able to, roll back. Number seven. Hope you're writing all of these down, right? End user acceptance. Make sure that the user is happy with whatever you're doing. And document changes. So when you're all done with all your work, in details, write down what you did. And if you have to have the user to sign up on it, you do that. All right. All right. Now let's talk about regulated data, licensing, and security policies. Okay. So number one, I want you to write these down as well. Regulatory and compliance policies. You got to make sure you have policies, in the security policy document in your organization: personal identities, health information, credit card data, and you have something about the citizen of the EU. But all of that information is within the human resources, all right? It should be protected, and it's protected by law, too. Software licensing, you can't just have piracy or copyrights. You can't just copy the software and give it to anyone else. And that also documents you can distribute. All right, if there's an author to these, and if there's a license, you have to purchase the license. All right. What happens if you have an incident? The incident response for prohibited content and activities. So if you notice an incident, somebody plugged into the network when they're not supposed to, or somebody broke into your system, what do you do? So number one, you should identify and go through the proper channels if you see an incident. Preserve the data and devices and the incident documentation. Make sure you set up some sort of a chain of custody, just like a detective, protect the area where the problem is, preserve all the evidence. So in case you need to go to court, you have something to show, right? Number four, and data destruction and disposal. What happens if you want to get rid of your hard drive or any magnetic field? So write the following down, please. Overwrite data on the drive. You can use the utility zero fail, put zeros on all the sectors. For solid state devices, you can use secured erase utility. You can use the ATA secure erase. Physically destroy the device if you have to. Bring a hammer or a nail right through it. For magnetic drives, I typically, when you want to throw out a computer, you can take that magnetic drive and you can throw everything else pretty much. Well, take it to recycle. Don't throw it out. But you should go, I put a nail through it, and I have a few hard drives at home, and I haven't got rid of them since the 1990s. But what you could do is you could use a degausser, and the degausser just sends a big magnetic field and just erases all the data, but you cannot use it again. It's just a one-time deal. For paper, you make sure you use a shredder and secure all data destruction service, or you can use a secure data destruction service if you have to. All right. So that's it for this chapter. So one more chapter for the semester, chapter 18. So don't forget to write down whatever I asked you to write down, and I'll see you on the final chapter, chapter 18.